Hey, good morning. Is this working? I'm pretty new at this. Um, Maybe I'm gonna check that link I just sent everyone. Yeah, there we go. So thanks for tuning in. I am in beautiful Ecatzingo de Hidalgo, Mexico. You can see behind me, there's some hills, there's a cornfield. Here we make corn and websites. So today we've been building out the library for HotPage, which is a repository in the non-technical sense of code, a place where you can find code and grab it to use on your websites. And we want to share that with people even if they're not using HotPage. I mean, the cool thing about HotPage is this could be, we provide code, but it's the same code you would use on your own websites if you were not using HotPage. So the whole time you're just using the normal HTML, CSS, normal web page stuff, and you can use it on HotPage, or you can use it in a text file and put it on a FTP it to a server, and then it's a web page. And we want to make some pages that are explaining, what this is, what is the code library, what we're doing, what different pieces of it are. This looks like this. So this is the page we're going to build today. It's relatively simple. This is like a grid. The idea here is this is the HotPage code library, and then these are all different things inside of it. So right now we only have styled elements and headings. Very soon to release buttons. It's basically done. And then this is how it would look on mobile. And that's about it. Let's get into this thing. So this is a page I actually already built, but it's very ugly. So right now, it's just library.hot.page, and it looks like this. So that's not ideal. So if we want to start building it, we just go to hotpage.dev/library. These are all the things that are to come. If anyone was curious and wanted to peep in here, they could do that. This is the buttons, the heroes, the styled elements. Right now we're working on the home page for the library. So this is that thing. If I can dock this on the side, you can see the text here ends up looking like this. It looks even worse on mobile because there's no border on this page. So these are the links to styled elements, headings, and that's basically what's going to be down here, these things. And we got to get this whole thing in there. So the easiest part of this is going to be dropping in the header, because that one's already done. So if I drop, this is a page that I already built that I've been using on some the other pages. So if I drop this header in there, it's already there. I think this, if we look at the design, let's just start from top to bottom. This looks like it's got a max width of maybe 400 or 500 pixels, and it's in the center. So we don't need that text. Just wrap this thing in a new div, and then can zoom out on this. Yeah. So this is what it's going to look like on desktop. So just slap a max width on this puppy. 500 pixels. And maybe 400. Do some width, some margin, vertical 0, auto to center it. Actually, I do want some margin at the top. And maybe some at the bottom. This looks like it's all centered. Interesting choice. Don't usually do that, but it looks amazing, so I'm not going to complain. Text align center is how we center things when it's text. This image is a little too big. Let's say max width 80%, 60%. Margin 0 auto, and now it's in the center. How are we looking there? Cool, cool. Another problem with this is this body should not have any of that. We do want Graycliff. Graycliff is our sans serif font for building all of our interface and homepage and all that. But I'm going to use the variable in case someday we change it. So this, I believe, is body font. And then this is sort of my normal reset is all this box sizing thing. That's basically the only reset I do very consistently. This brand style sheet, all it has is our colors and our font. This is Chicago font we use for buttons. And then this is all of our colors and all of our fonts. And okay. So looking better. I would say this needs like way more margin at the top, right? And probably more at the bottom. And how about that background? That background is badass with these keys. I'm quite partial to it. I know I have it somewhere else, so I'm just gonna steal it. Bear with me. Login background. You know where I have it? It's on hotpage.dev. Okay. Just kidding. I would have to log out to show you that. If I can switch this browser. Now I'm in an incognito tab. The background is here. So I'm just gonna go on to, this looks like it would be on the body or the HTML element. Must be on body. Where is this thing? I know it's there. Pretty sure it's on HTML. There it is. Ah, it's an URL. So we just copy this, and then we should be able to go straight back to the other browser, and this on HTML background. Boom. Love it. Oh wow, this is tricky because this white spot, this thing has to be on the white always. And it looks like this is actually a different image. I was not expecting this. It does look different because there's, in this one it's got this sort of, well, it's got these two yellow A, H1 block quote. And this is A, H1, but it's different. It's a little bit more open. And, well, I don't even know how to get this out of Figma. It's probably on a background image. Anyone know how to use Figma? I certainly don't. Maybe I'll ask Carlos for it later. For now, I know this CSS property background is like one of the most complicated. And I know the first part is background size, and then the second part is background position, or it's vice versa. I'm gonna guess that this is the size because it's 500 pixels, and that's a pretty big screen. So I'm gonna do 100%, and then that should be auto. So now it's 100% wide. And now position, I'm gonna do 50% from the top, 0. So I want this white spot in the middle to be there. That would be dope. No, not working for me. Close. I mean, sometimes you just gotta type numbers in here and hope that something works. How does this work if it gets to normal size? Not bad. Alright. So, one thing I know, our H1 is going to be the heading font. Font family, var heading font. Nope. What is this? And we have header font. Lovely. Okay, that's a nice kooky font. What else we got on here? This looks like this is bold. And the image looks like it's maybe a little bit wider. Let's go with 80. Looks about right. This is bold. So I can add styles here, or I can add them in here. This is kind of random why I chose to put font family here as opposed to in here, because it's really only applying to one element. There's only one H1 on the page, but that's what we got. This does not exist. This also does not exist in the design. Just gonna cut it. What we have is these links to styled elements and headings. So, oops, why does that happen? Well, just drop that poppy in there. So, also this header now that I realize it needs a white background. So we can edit that page. Just drop in background white, and that's nice. Seems like it's got some kind of margin on it. What it would be causing that margin, hard to tell. Sometimes the elements inside an element will cause margin on the parent element, and that's insane rules of margin in HTML that work some of the time. The way you get rid of that is you do display flow root, and that did nothing. Does this actually have margin on it? Hard to tell. Only way to check these things is in DevTools, because this is way too complicated. Oh, now it's gone. Lovely. But looks like it's margin on the body that we're seeing up there. So if we go back into this one, if we're on, we go to body, margin 0, it's gone. All right. And I think we're ready to do this grid. What do you need for a grid? You need display grid. Where can you cheat and just grab one that's already made? Right here in the code library. We're using the code library to make the code library. Let's just pop that in there. Pop this in here. This one in here. And here we have these next to each other in what is a nascent grid. So I think this grid also needs a max width, maybe 800 pixels, and it also needs margin 0 auto to center it. So you can see we're in the center now. And let's give these a class, since you can see there's many of these things, and we don't want to have to repeat inline styles for all of them. So what we're going to do is give it a class. And I might as well just put it right in here in the parent element, because the grid items are only going to be in the parent element. So let's give these background white. And then we need to give all of these the class grid item. Grid item. And now we have a white background on this. That's step 0. What else do these things have? They have a box shadow, which looks like several box shadows stacked on top of each other to make it into a sort of box shadow shape. What else do they have? These look like, that's Graycliff. This is Graycliff, and then they have an image with a border around it and an SVG. So it's also a link. This entire thing, I believe, is a link. So when you click on it, first of all, we're going to need a hover state so people know they can click on it. And then it's actually got to go to where you're going. So if the whole thing is a link, we could just turn this into a link. href equals styled elements. And then this is no longer a link. So this turns into a span. if I do delete self and keep children, it will remove the span. So also this one, remove the headings, make this a link. Link is an anchor tag, href/headings. So now, whenever I click anywhere on this white box, I get to the headings, which I actually did not want to do. Well, that was style elements, you know what I mean. So, grid item. Looks like these also have a border around them and some padding. So, grid item has border, 1 pixel, solid. I know these are our brand colors, so I can go primary color 900. Now we got a border on this thing. Padding. I'm going to say that's probably 16 pixels, not 116, 16. Looks like the P, this P is going to cause its own padding, which is not ideal. Let's make these into an H3. Also, because it's a link, it's getting a underline on it. That's text decoration. Gotta take that out of here. So getting somewhere, huh? That thing needs an SVG icon. And I'm not sure where that SVG is, but we'll get there in a second. So we need, if we go into style elements, there's an introduction to this thing, and we can steal that text. There's the SVG. So we should be able to do this. So drag all your elements around. There we go. Text. This should be a span because it's inside the H3. I just wanted to be able to drag the SVG inside of here. Although now that I think about it, I don't think that's ideal. Let's just delete that element. H3 is what I want. Let's get back here. Not bad, not bad. This second sentence probably is not necessary. Let's get these headings looking the same, H3. And what do the headings say? I don't think we should say a collection for all of them. Let's just say headline styles for an article or blog. That seems fine for now. Let's go back. And here we are. Headings, style elements. What about that paragraph in here? This is turning out to be a little bit longer. I tend to be somewhat a wordy writer, but at the same time, I don't know if that could be all that much shorter. I mean, that's shorter. Could this one be shorter? A collection of common building blocks. Useful for any web page. That's not shorter. Alright, so how about those SVGs. So if I go into the headings page, you can see this is the SVG. It doesn't show up because it's using these brand colors, but trust me, it's there. So I'm going to do a little bit of magic here, and if I have this open in another window, I can just drop these, drag and drop between windows. How about that? Not many web applications can actually do that because they don't use the native drag and drop libraries. Most people simulate a drag and drop by using mouse events. So you use mouse down, you grab the thing, mouse move, you're moving the thing, but that as soon as you want to drag between windows, that is no longer possible. HotPage uses native drag and drop. Styled elements. Let's get this one in here too. All right, oops. So now we just need to style these. So what you really want is this thing to be in a row. So I'm going to wrap it, drop this next to it, and then we'll give this a class header row. So do it here too, wrap it, drop this in, header row. Now we need to style that. So header row SVG should only be about, let's say, 16 pixels, too small. 24 pixels. Oops. Yeah. That might be good. This one looks like it's like right on the baseline. I don't know if I love that, but I don't. This one is, a lot of these icon positions require you to just move them ever so slightly, and it takes a while. You know what I'm missing here? I'm missing the text, the box shadow on this thing. So it's a box shadow. Let's move it 1 pixel down, 1 pixel to the right, 0 blur, and then we want var primary color 900. Does that look right? I'm not sure what this line is. What is that? Well, anyway, oh, it's because it's on, I'm putting it on the section and not the grid item itself. So if I want this on the grid item, I just drag it down here. Oops, I gotta stop clicking those. And we actually want many of these. So I'm just gonna cheat and let's see if I can add it like that. Oops. And now we should, oh my god. Now we should have a 2 pixel wide shadow. And looking good, we just need another one. 3 pixels. Getting fatter. Let's add another one. 4 pixels. And that's pretty close. how about it? So how is this going to work on mobile? So if I go back to 100%, this is causing some issues here. First of all, this is no longer in the white background. I'm going to have to get that SVG out of Figma some other way. And then the other thing is these are not wrapping as they should. And it's causing the, well, I mean, if we look at the mobile version, these need to wrap and come into one column. And how do we do that? Really, this section has repeat auto fit min max 250 1FR. So this is minimum 250. If we set this to 350, it wraps because each one is going to be 350 and it can't fit two, so then it wraps it, and then the min max is 1FR is the fractional space, so it will take up the whole space. Problem here is we need a little bit of padding on this, so I'm just going to throw in padding 8 pixels. They look a little strange, but I think it's just because this size is a little bit awkward. If you, not sure how wide this is, but a real mobile screen would be something more like that. So let's get this back to desktop, something like that. And the only thing we're missing is some images for each one. I'm just going to use a placeholder in here. Oh, this is actually exactly the image we need. This is the headings image. So that is huge, not very useful. It goes inside the grid item and it destroys everything. So let's add this width 100%, height, auto, boom. Let's I'm gonna actually move these styles to another place because they should be applied to all the images in the grid items. So we need to go here, we need dot grid item image, put them on there, and these all have also a 1 pixel solid purple border. And what is the aspect ratio here? This is more of like a 916 or something. So I'm going to do aspect ratio, is it 16:9? Yeah. But when you, so with that we don't need height, oh we do. Okay, so the aspect ratio has changed, but it's probably scaling it a little bit weird. So it's going to squish this image, and I can definitely see it in this text. It's sort of like squishing it. I think what we can do about that is use the object fit properties, and this would be cover, and there we go. We're back to a normal non-squished image. Yeah, how about that? Looks all right. What are the other ones in here? So if we want to someday add another one, we want to add buttons. Let's just duplicate this. We'll change this to buttons. And then I know where the button SVG is. It's in the buttons library. We'll just pop that in there for you. Oops. And we have a nice buttons library. And of course, you have to change the destination of the link, buttons. There we go. Why is this so blue? Why is this not blue? Can anyone explain that? I can't explain it. In any event, we need to change. I think we can get rid of it by setting here grid item color inherit, and then everything will be black, which is not cool. We want everything to be purple. And there it is, a lovely dark purple. So if we zoom out, continue zooming out, this should, you would want these to go to 3 columns, as was our mandate. Just going to make these slightly bigger. So we have 350, but the max width is 900. So 3 times 350 would be 1350. And this is only 900, so it's not going to fit. Is that right? No. 3 times 350 is 1050. Let's see. 1050. And then there's probably a gap or something on here. Anyway, let's try 1100. There we go. And then this will go to 3 columns when it hits the max width, and then we'll be shrinking to a slightly narrower grid. If I wanted to throw some media queries in here, I could get some more precise control. I think I may do that at one point, but I'm not going to bore you guys with setting that up, at least not today. This is almost there. I would say it's really only missing these images and the background image. And mainly what I wanted to show you guys was the grid and the sort of basic CSS with this. If you have any questions, shout me an email or WhatsApp, and let me know. Let me know how I did. And I think that's about it for today. So thank you guys very much. Signing off. Build lots of web pages.